So Salman Khurshid is with us. Salman Khurshid, lot of things that he said, but the first question which comes is, why didn't he say anything like this before? If Rahul Gandhi had the ability to change the fortunes of all the people suffering because of the cap on cylinders, for example, he should have used that power earlier, don't you think so?
Well, it's very difficult to talk about timing. I mean, there is a sense of timing. There's inevitability of choosing a particular time. And you can't really fault a leader, particularly if you're following that leader, to say, why didn't you do it earlier and why did you not do it later? Of course, when you sit down to strategize, you can always look at the optimal time, moment to do it. But, I think that it was difficult to do after the last budget. We are now going into on a vote on account, on a short-term budget. The situation has improved considerably since last year. In fact, the finance minister actually said to me, if I had something like this last year at this time, I would have been a much happier man. So obviously the situation both for the rupee...
Is that really true? Is that really true? Because I think it is something else. I mean, it's Rahul Gandhi who has maintained the stoic silence on a burning issue, such as the hike in LPG prices. Prices have gone up consistently. In fact, your party has argued for it. Rahul Gandhi has not spoken even once on the issue. And this is one issue, Mr. Khurshid, which burns the pockets of the common man. So Rahul Gandhi fails to pitch himself and the party appropriately for 1 year, gets smashed in the Delhi elections, and suddenly now wants to do a U-turn.
Not a U-turn. It's, as I said to you again, somebody who's leading from the front and taking responsibility for everything that happens, because it's one party and it's that party that's contributing largely to the government.
No, he's trying to distance himself. Why did he have to do this today? Because it's a conscious decision to distance himself from the government once again, to try and ensure. When he says Mr. Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister,
he's not the...
is smiling. It's all very well choreographed, Mr. Khurshid, to ensure that Rahul carries minimal UPA baggage.
You can call it choreographed. You can call it a very, very smart strategy. You can call it good coordination with the Prime Minister. You can call it a lot of things, frankly, but. No, it can be anything, but the fact remains that the bottom line is that he's sensitive to what was a growing demand from across the board, both within the party and outside the party. And it was a question of his being able to convince the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister that now is the time, when we are actually going in for a short-term budget, which is for 6 months, a vote on account, now is the time when you can just about squeeze this in. So, I mean, it's
fine. I won't labor that point. I won't labor that point, but what's the one big idea? You see, consider some of Modi's catchphrases. Congress Mukt Bharat.
Yeah.
India first. P2G2. Pro-people, good governance. Vote for India. Right? These are catchy ideas. Now, of course, Rahul Gandhi can be dismissive and say this is all just good marketing. But the fact is, if I were to ask you, Mr. Khurshid, beyond a philosophical statement such as we are not a party, we are a thought. That's extremely philosophical. It's the closest you can get to power is poison. What's the one tangible that the people from the Congress party took away today? What will they say? We got this. This is why you vote for us. What's that one tangible?
Well, no, there are several things. One thing that the Congress was looking for, and it did get, is that he has categorically accepted the responsibility to lead us from the front. We all knew it. I mean,
was there any doubt about it, Mr. Khurshid? I mean, he was made the head of the party campaign coordination committee in late 2012. 1.5 years later, you needed a reconfirmation of that?
But look, where it needed a reconfirmation, because all of you were just going on and on about is it on, is it not on, is it on, is it not on?
No. We were going on about whether he will be the prime ministerial candidate, not about whether he's first among equals.
That's another part. That's another part of your curiosity, and did answer that part as well. I think very eloquently and very logically, he explained why both is as a part of the tradition of the Congress, as indeed as part of the constitutional exercise. This is something that you just have to do.
But you haven't answered my question. And my question is this, that yes, Rahul Gandhi struck the right form. So the form is right. But you haven't answered what one big, tangible takeaway is from his speech, which people should vote on.
No. See, his speech was to Congress workers. He was not making a State of the Nation speech. He was not making a manifesto speech. He was speaking directly to Congress workers, who you might say he was preaching to the converted. You might say that he was speaking to his own commander, to his soldiers. But essentially, he wanted to give them a clear indication that we intend to fight to win.
No, I got two takeaways.
To infuse them.
I got two takeaways. Yeah. You agree? Tell me whether you agree with me. The first takeaway, right? The first takeaway is that all is not lost yet, right?
No.
And one second.
Well, you could put it more positively.
One second. The second takeaway is that we are not a political party, we are a thought. Now the first is not very encouraging, and the second one is too philosophical.
Oh well, I see. It was not said without a context. It was said in a context which actually showed how ridiculous the BJP, Modi-led BJP proposition is, that you've got to rid the country of the Congress party. And he said, and I think he did a very good job in saying, you cannot get rid of the Congress party because Congress party is a part of the thought processes of this country, of the idea of India. That's essentially what he said. And he said, when you fight this idea, you're actually fighting, you're fighting the very idea of India. And that's where you will fail, because yours is a restricted idea, ours is an expansive idea, ours is a universal idea, and that's the universal idea
from what he's been saying earlier. Now you see, now here's the point, Mr. Khurshid. Originality, Mr. Khurshid. Originality, newness. My contention
what is newness? No, I think he did. I think he touched upon an interesting proposition, and that is about a segment of our society which has come above the poverty line, but which is still far below the middle class. And I think that's a very important, significant segment that he's identified as a special constituency in order to expand the base of the Indian middle class. And I think that therein lies another major story about India's future.
So Mr. Khurshid, let's do a quick Q&A before we wrap up. You can tell me whether you agree or disagree. Yep. My basic contention is that Rahul Gandhi has repeated old promises. So my first point to you is, you can tell me agree or disagree. Empowering the elected, the same point made in the Chintan Shivir made today. Agree?
No. I think it's a fantastic point, and it's a new spin that he's given on that point.
What's
and
the new
spin?
In
today's context,
that 15 MPs will be
the new spin is. No, the new spin is that representative democracy was being sought to be undermined by participatory democracy, and he's found the right balance once again.
He said that in Chintan Shivir. He said the balance of power in national decision making must move away from Delhi and the state capitals to the panchayat and municipal ward. He's merely reiterating that.
Not reiterating. He also said that elected representatives have a role, and he today, I think, he has said something that nobody has said in Indian politics, which is that elected representatives are lawmakers, and you have a role as a lawmaker that you must not allow to be undermined.
What's so original?
The lawmaker must make law. Your job is not simply to look at municipality issues. That's the job also of local representatives, but your job in the legislatures is to make law. And I think that's a remarkable, far-sighted statement that he's made.
Are you actually telling me that all
of the constitutional structures?
Are you telling me Congress MPs and MLAs and all needed to be told that They don't know they are lawmakers?
No. I think with the, no. Sorry, the kind of discourse you've had on your channels everywhere in this country. Suddenly they are talking about SMSs and referendums and going to the streets and going to the villages. Of course, that's important, but that's important within an institutional framework without undermining the role of a lawmaker. We must understand the role of a lawmaker. The lawmaker must be an enlightened person who makes the right kind of laws, and laws must not be made only because of a passing fashion or a passing fancy.
Yes, I heard him say that laws should not be made by the media, or the media should not tell us what laws to make. I also heard him say that.
Well, there you are. Thank you very much. And you've noticed, you've
yes,
at least noticed that.
But I also I noticed that in the past he has very often followed what the media has demanded. So it's not necessarily what the media says is wrong.
Well, okay, then you might say that he's done a rethink on you, and if he's done a rethink on you, well, that's for you to pick up and for you to understand.
Mr. Khurshid, I just want him to join the national election debate with Narendra Modi and Arvind Kejriwal. I don't ask for much. All I want is one opportunity to have Rahul Gandhi versus Modi versus Kejriwal. If he says yes, we'll get the others to agree.
Well, I don't know. This is, you're making a public request or a public offer. I'm sure that he or someone on his behalf watches television and would be able to convey it to him. But if you want me to convey this to him, I'm sure that he will find the right opportunity. He will find the right opportunity to address your concern, if not entirely, at least to some extent.
Wonderful, Mr. Khurshid. Convey the message. Help us pitch for it. Thank you very much. Salman Khurshid there
thank you very much.
On the Newshour Direct.